So today I'm going to be showing you guys a trick that gets a lot of shit from the magic community. You oftentimes see people on magic forums complain on how oil and water shouldn't be done to spectators because they're not going to find it exciting. But today I'm going to be showing you guys my variation on the exact same trick and how I make it exciting for the spectator and hopefully make it a trick that they will remember. But what you got to realize is that a lot of times these magicians haven't actually done magic for real people. They'll just sit in the basement of their mother's garage. They eat a bag of Cheetos and they'll make all these informed opinions about subjects they don't know about. But in this particular case, I can tell you from firsthand experience that this trick works for actual real people. So stop complaining, you motherfuckers. So I'm going to show you guys the variation on this that I do a lot of times. Now, the thing is that a lot of people would go for the oil and water pattern. I think that's outdated. You got to be a little bit more topical. So from my personal experience, you got to give them some sort of other attributes. So this could either be white women and Middle Eastern women. This could be men and women, gays and straights, blacks and whites. You just got to give other attributes to the cards that make it a little bit more exciting than just oil and water. So pretty much the premise of the trick is that you take the oil, the water, the whites, and the blacks, and you're going to mix them between the races. So we're going to get the blacks and whites in this case, and we're going to mix them together, and each black has its own white counterpart. And what we do is we say the magic word. In this case, the magic word is going to be segregation laws. And then that should be enough to actually separate the blacks from the whites. So I'm going to do that one more time. So we take the gays and the straights in different hands and make this as fair as possible. We're going to take one straight, one gay, one straight, one gay, one straight, one gay, one straight, and finally one gay. And we say the magical words. In this case, they could be magical faggot. And you see what happens. The cards actually separate. Again, we got the gays and the straights. Now, of course, for a last kicker phase, at this point you could show in fact that the straights or the gays are on top of the deck or on top of the little packet. You put these aside and say that sometimes you got to watch out because oftentimes you don't know black people from white people. You could have a white person that's trying to imitate the blacks, so you got to watch out for that. And then of course show the kicker that they have actually transposed. So that is my variation on the oil and water. And you see a lot of elements from people like Joshua J. and Martin Luther King. But in this particular case, it's a pretty simple trick to do. You're just going to need to have a couple sleights and a couple different moves that you do. And once you get them down, it's really not that hard. So the first thing that you need to do is you get two separate banks of cards. In this case, I'm using aces and kings. You could use whatever you want as long as they are different. Now, the only setup that I do have to say is you are getting the kings, and you are making sure that each and every card is of the opposite color. So what I mean, you got black, you got red, you got black, and you got red. That's the only setup that you need to have. So first things first, you're displaying both sets of cards. Next thing you're going to do, and first sleight really, is that as you square up the aces and the kings, you're going to get a break above the second card from the bottom. So what this does is that now you have this packet set up in a way that if you cut it at this point, when displaying the actual cards, you're going to be ready to mix them up together, supposedly, and have them separate. So you're going to get a break above the second card from the bottom of the little packet. And what's going to happen is, in showing this, you're going to cut this whole pile, which is actually 4 aces and the extra 2 kings. You're going to cut this to the bottom of the pile in exposition and flip this whole pile over. So what you got now is, if you look at the top 4 cards, you got 2 kings and 2 aces. But they're going to think that this is the pile of aces and this is the pile of kings. As a matter of fact, a thing that I like to do, I like to spread until I get 4 cards, square it up, and turn it over. So this way they get another visual of the fact that you have 2 different piles going into each other. Now what's going to happen is that with the right hand, that's this hand, for those of you that might not know what right or left is, and if you don't, I suggest you move out of your country because your education system obviously isn't working. So what's going to happen is you're going to get these cards right here and you're going to do a reverse spread. So what that means is that you're just going to use the fingers on the right hand and they're just going to push up, so you could spread these cards in a reverse fashion. And what's going to happen is that you're going to put each card from the left hand in the spaces of the cards in the right hand. So what that does is you're pulling the aces among the other aces and the kings among the other kings. As a matter of fact, you can flash these last two right before you put them as an added convincer for those spectators that might be a little bit of a hassle for you. So once you have this set up, you can actually square this up because the cards are already separated. So you got the aces and then you got the kings. So the second phase, you're just going to repeat this, which is a bonus to the people that didn't understand the first phase. I'm going to show you again what you need to do, but keep in mind there's going to be the second phase. And if you are having a hard time figuring this shit out on YouTube, I mean, like, come on, you could rewind and see what I did in the first step. But whatever, for the Europeans, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you guys again. So you have a pile here. You're going to get a break above the third card from the top as you square it up. So when you show these cards in exposition, you're going to be cutting this to the bottom and flipping this whole pile over. You're going to be spreading the top four cards, and this time, as opposed to the first phase where you did it in your hands, you're going to actually put the cards on the table. So one more time, I like to flash to show that there's actually two different sets of cards in both hands. And what's going to happen now is that instead of reverse spreading and inserting the cards, that was a sexual joke there. Instead of inserting the cards, you're actually going to be dealing on the table. Now, some people might go against this, saying that it breaks the pattern of the first set of sort of routine. It breaks the pattern that you did in the first phase, but I really don't see an issue with that. You are doing it in a way that seems to be more fair. So, fuck you guys. So what's going to happen is that you are going to display the bottom. Then you're going to do the same reverse spread that we discussed in the first step. But this time, instead of inserting the cards, you're just going to deal them onto the table. So you could say gay, straight, gay, straight, gay, straight, gay, and straight. You're just pretty much putting the cards in every other way. And of course, they're already separated because of your lovely little sleight that you did in the beginning. So that's really the only move that you're doing in this trick, apart from the third phase, which is, again, optional. It's just a transposition between both sets of cards. But in this particular case, the only move you're doing, which sets up the whole trick, is getting a pinky break above the second card from the bottom, cutting that to the back, and flipping the whole pile over. That sets you up for mixing up the cards as much as you want, and you can have the cards displayed to be separated. Now, as far as the last, phase of this routine, I like to do a transposition, so you can insert whichever one you want. This is one that I've picked up over the years. I really don't know who to credit for this, so if I accidentally credit you and this is your transposition, I'm sorry, all right? I'm a fucking person. So as far as what you need to do, you're going to have both piles of cards, and this time, instead of getting a break under the second card, you're going to get a break under the first card. So this could just be done by doing a buckle. Over here, a buckle is just when you are using your forefinger of your left hand, that's this finger right here, to press down in the upper right corner and inserting your pinky in the break that creates. So this is going to be done temporarily. What's going to happen is that you're going to actually transfer this to a thumb break as you bring this whole pile up. Now, the action that you're trying to simulate here is bringing this whole pile up, putting all the kings face down, and putting the aces on top. That's what you're trying to simulate. But what's really happening is that you are just putting that one card, which is going to pass off as the rest of the kings. You're going to bring that all the way up so that your thumb and forefinger come in contact with the card, and you're going to use these cards to lever the single card face down and put this pile on top. So what you should have now are the 4 aces, followed by 3 kings, and the last face down king. So at this point, what this sets you up for, let's just go over that one more time for the people from West Germany. Lord knows, since we've helped them out, bringing their country together, they've just been stupid. So let me show this for you guys. This is a shout out to you guys. What's going to happen is you're going to get a break. Remember, above the first card from the face here, you're going to bring the whole pile up. You're just going to turn over the single card and drop the rest of the cards there. Now you're going to singly display the aces. So what's going to happen is you're going to show one ace here, thumb off another ace, thumb off the third ace, and on the fourth ace, that's when you're going to do the sneaky move. You're going to do a buckle on the bottom card, which allows you to get your little sneaky fingers in here into the pile here and show the last card, the back of it. Of course, this pile is hiding the 3 kings here in the back, so you got to make sure not to show that. So it should look like that in concert. So what's going to happen now is you're going to get these cards and you're going to turn this whole thing over and spread the 4 cards on the top. Now, of course, these are not the cards that were initially displayed. These are actually 3 kings followed by an ace. But these cards are supposedly going to go on the table. Really, you're going to put 3 cards on the table. And the way we do that is when you are squaring up the cards, you're going to square up the bottom card with the packet down here. As you square up the other cards, maintaining a break right there below them, you're going to pick up this pile and put that on the table. Now, you're not going to do this in 3 steps. That's going to make you look slightly autistic and maybe a little bit retarded. You're going to do this in one continuous move. So you're going to square it up like this and drop the pile on the table. So really what you've done is you have 3 cards on the table, which are the 3 kings. And this now you're set up to do this little color change, which apparently is going to change all 4 cards for the other 4 cards that are on the table. And the way we do this, we're going to peel off the bottom card and put this on top of the pile on the left hand. And what's going to happen is that as you are displaying this, you're going to just get a break below the second card. And you're going to do a double lift that we talked about in one of my earlier videos. That's a plug, if you guys don't know what that is. So that's going to be a plug for another video. The double lift looks a little bit like that. But you're going to be combining 2 actions at the same time that you do that double lift. You're going to be doing the actual double lift with this hand at the same time that this hand turns over and spreads the cards. So once you do that, it looks like all the cards pretty much turned into the cards on the table. And the benefit of this is that since I always have a perfect double lift because I'm absolutely perfect in every single way, some of you guys might actually spread the cards accidentally. So if you are spreading out the cards with your left hand, it covers whatever imperfections you guys may have with your third world double lift. So one more time, you're just going to get a break below the card second from the top of the deck. And as you make whatever paddle point, at this point, you are going to be lifting up that, doing the little double lift at the same time that you spread these cards. In action, it should look like that. Now to clean this thing up, what you're going to do is you're going to drop either this whole pile on the table, which pretty much sets you up there. Or what I usually like to do is I like to get a buckle here, get a break above the bottom card. And as I pick up the pile with my right hand, I'm depositing that card that I have a break on as I throw the bottom cards to my hand and show that the women, the gays, the blacks are there and the opposition is there. So that's my oil and water routine. Again, I don't understand where all this hate goes for this sort of trick, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. Me personally, I'm going to go jerk off to
see you again, when I 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 see you again.